Garlic is one of the most beloved crops around the world and across cultures, and surprisingly, not too hard to grow at home, but also quite confusing for a first-time grower. I've grown about 25 different types over 5 years in a variety of techniques, methods, and styles. And so in this video, I'm gonna give you literally everything you need to know. Open the kimono completely on how to plant and grow your best garlic this season. So cultivate that like button, and I will personally bless you with 1 extra clove per bulb. And let's get into it. First thing to talk about is garlic varieties. I have 14 different varieties here, but they all break down into 2 major categories. Right here is a soft neck garlic, and then here I have a hard neck garlic. Starting off with soft neck, it looks a little frumpy, but it is the more common garlic you'll see grown at the grocery store. It has a ton more cloves than hard neck. It grows way better in a warmer climate like my own here in San Diego, and it tends to store longer, up to about a year or so. The only real trade-off here is that the flavor variety, it's less pungent, it has less spice or true garlicky flavor, but if it's the only one you can grow in your climate, then it's the garlic you're gonna get. Now we have hardneck. There are so many different varieties, way more than softneck. The biggest difference is that the cloves are bigger. It really prefers a cold climate to grow in. So if you're a northern grower watching this video, I would default to hardneck. They just look so good and perform so well in that climate. And then they tend to have a little bit more flavor, a little bit more spice and pungency, and they also store just a touch less long, maybe about 6 to 8 months instead of softnecks a year. But fear not, because I have grown both varieties in my warm climate here. So if you are a warmer climate grower and have struggled with garlic, these next tips should help. To grow hardneck garlic in a warmer climate, like something here in San Diego, this one, by the way, is called Music, one of my absolute favorite varieties. But if I was to toss this in the ground right now, it would not do well. And that's because hardneck garlic has a mandatory requirement to be exposed to cold. In a normal place that you'd plant it, a colder climate, it'd be about 2 to 3 months at 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't have here in my climate. So what I need to do is trick it into thinking that it experienced that. And the only way to do it is to toss these in a paper bag, throw them in your crisper drawer in the refrigerator, check them every so often to make sure that they're not going moldy or rotting, but keep them in there for about 2 to 3 months. And I specifically mean the refrigerator. Do not put them in the freezer. Some people think that's gonna speed them up. In fact, it will kill your garlic by like bursting the cells. You'd be very sad. So that is the way to do it. You wanna keep it in for about 8 to 10 weeks, and then you get into the planting, which I have some more tips for all garlic growers and warm climate growers. This is the bed I have chosen this year for my garlic for 2 specific reasons. And the first is the placement of the bed. When you're choosing a site to grow it, you really want something that has full sun exposure. Garlic can take it, it actually wants it. The only caveat I'll say is if you are in a super warm climate, partial sun is okay. If you could get a little shade maybe during the hottest parts of the day, that will help for reasons that will become clear in just a little bit. And the second thing you want is some sort of really nice, loose, well-draining soil mix. Last year, I planted my garlic in the backyard in my native clay soil. It was just a little too heavy, and I planted them a little too close together. I got a disease called garlic rust, which more or less wiped out the 250 heads that I planted. Very depressing, very sad. You can actually see that video on the Epic Homesteading channel. We got a couple, but it was depressing. So this year, I have put it in this bed here. So what I need to do is clear out all of these summer crops. Then I'm gonna work in a very healthy dose of compost. Garlic can almost not have enough. It absolutely loves it. And then I'll take a fork and just work this soil up, loosen it up, maybe remove some of the larger roots, because we're growing a root crop. Garlic actually hates competing. It does not want to be around other plants. So clear all the weeds out, clear all the soil debris, and then it's time to plant. We have a beautifully prepped bed. We now need to figure out how to take a bulb and get it in the ground. Not only how, but when to do it. Plant timing with garlic is the best way to ensure you get giant, juicy, delicious heads of garlic. And it really all depends on where you live. So there's something called a growing zone. You can look it up, put your zip code in and type in growing zone. It'll spit a number out, and then look at this chart and plant roughly in the guidelines that this chart says. But as a general rule of thumb, knowing what we know about garlic, we know it needs that cold exposure. So you need to get it in the ground just before the coldest part of your year, so it has time to experience that, develop its root system over the winter, and then sprout up in fall. In my area here in San Diego, that means I can actually plant in December, sometimes even January. I just need to get it in the ground at the coldest time of year. So how do I plant this garlic? Well, I'm definitely not going to plant the whole bulb. So what you have to do is pop the cloves off. And what you want to do here is try to preserve this sort of loose, papery skin. It's a little bit of a protective layer when you're putting the garlic in the ground. You just come in with your thumb and pop the clove out like this. There's going to be multiple cloves, so you just gently separate those. In a hard neck garlic, you can actually see that neck making its way down to the base there. That's how you know it's a hard neck. So I've got 6 beautiful cloves here. General rule of thumb, the bigger the clove, the bigger the resulting bulb. So if you have small cloves, like this one is definitely smaller and thinner, I'm still gonna plant it. But if you're growing, let's say a soft neck garlic, those often have a ton of smaller cloves. If you've got enough garlic planted and you still have cloves left over, definitely make sure those are the smaller cloves. But a fun little tip is you can plant those in a little container and they'll sprout up green, and you can use them as what's called green garlic, which is a nice sort of little culinary delicacy. Basically a green onion, but with a garlic flavor. Really, really nice. But we want to take our cloves pointy side up. This is where the sprout's going to come out. If you put it pointy side down, it's going to loop around and malform your garlic. You do not want that. And then all you need to do is get your hands a little dirty. You want to come in about 3, maybe 4 inches deep and go in pointy side up. Nestle it nice and deep down there. Cover that up. And now let's talk spacing. So garlic wants some room. It doesn't want to compete, like I said. You want to put it at least 6 inches apart. So the way I'd space it would be something like this. And then from row to row, it really depends. You can go as tight as a spacing something like this, and you can get away with that. But if you are prone to maybe having some disease, you can spread that out a little bit and maybe go a little bit more like this type of spacing with about 8 inches between each garlic and 6 inches on the horizontal. So you could do something like that. But that's really all there is to planting garlic. The only thing to do now is to cover this entire bed with mulch. That's going to help protect, keep the soil nice and moist, but also keep the heat off of the soil. So we're going to cover this up with a healthy amount of our garden straw. So 3 inches of mulch are officially on the bed. A nice light colored shredded straw reflects a lot of heat, which the garlic does not want to experience until it starts that bulbing process, which is maybe 100 days away. So if you've watched this video, you have every single thing you need to know to select garlic for your climate, prepare your bed and get it in the ground successfully. Come back in spring. We're gonna show you exactly what to do when it does start sprouting to guarantee big bulbs. Couple fun tricks. But we have garlic on our store that will ship right to your doorstep if you want to experiment with some fun varieties. And we have a garlic playlist here that you can check out if you can't wait till next spring. Until next time, good luck in the garden and keep on growing.